Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Ageless Energy show. Today we're talking about self care, why I don't believe the word selfish is actually selfish of how we see it, and some action steps we can take today to help improve your situation, regardless of where you are or what you're doing. If you're not sure who I am, my name is Drew Tadia, founder and CEO of True Form Life. We help women 40 plus to help them increase energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones. So if that's you, you're in the right place. Well, let's jump in. This is live streamed. So you may be listening to this as a replay, but if you're in here live, we would love for you to jump in, ask any questions, let us know you're here, you're watching. Good morning. Hellos are always appreciated. And I'm just going to make sure we are in the right place. And good morning, Zoe. I have my Valentine's Day beads on. For those of you that are just listening, you may not be able to hear me. Oh, I should probably check volume. I'm on a slightly different location, so I don't have my mic as usual. Good morning, Sandra. And, well, that's awesome.
Make sure we are
there we go.
in the right place.
Okay. Let's go. All right, let's get into it. Oh, I was just talking about my beads. Good morning, Miranda. It's I have a lovely wife. She was a grade one teacher for over 10 years. Good morning, Sharon. I love to see our MAT members in here, by the way. Of course, we love to see everyone in here, but good morning, Shelly. Our MAT members, our Metabolism Accelerator program, and we're doing this challenge, this Blitz challenge, and it's going awesome. We have a daily action every day. It's like the gratitude one, sweaty selfie. We host that in a private group off Facebook, but it's going awesome. The first week we're gonna do a 30-day challenge, and it's just a great way to get involved, get more locked into daily habits, stacking habits, regular routines, and yeah, super excited about how the first week went. Usually the first week for challenges go well. So it's our job to try to find a way to keep our people motivated and moving forward after the first week. Even the second week is a bit easier, but then you get to the third and fourth week and it's like feels like a long grind. That's why you see a lot of 10-day challenges or like max 21-day challenges. Or obviously that's where the 21-day fix came from. Or I don't believe I don't believe it only takes 21 days to form a habit, but that's where that comes from. I don't even know if there's any real research around that. I feel like it's the 10,000 steps rule. 10,000 steps is, I mean, it's a nice baseline to like work towards, but there's no real research around that improves your health. It's great to get moving, but I'm pretty sure I read some research around it was actually like a stepper company that was trying to sell their product. So they're like, it's interesting how that kind of stuff catches on, right? Like the 21 days for habits. If that was the case, we'd only have to do anything for 21 days and then we'd always do it forever. Like, obviously, that's not realistic. Good morning, Deb. We had a really nice call with you yesterday, Deb. I'm happy to hear you're situated. You're doing awesome. And Sandy's in here. With our program, like, there's a lot to our program. Like, that's all there is to it. If there wasn't, we would just offer, like, here's a workout program, go and do it on your own, right? Or if it was like, or maybe it'd be like this very simplistic would be here's a nutrition program, good luck. Like, but that's not what we do. I feel like we're so far from that. I don't even know if it's fair to call our program like a nutrition and fitness program. Like it's about accountability and habits and creating systems in your life and showing up and accountability. I don't think, honestly, I don't think the more I work with people, this is not a knock to our members. I just mean in general, I don't think people know what accountability is because I'll talk to someone and I'll say, well, what is it that you really want? Like, what can we help with? And a lot of people say, probably 60 to 70% of people say, oh, I have a pretty good idea what to do, which may or may not be the case. But in most cases, they say, I really need help with accountability. I really need to help stay on track. I'm like, okay. So then if you offer someone accountability and you say, okay, this is what we're doing, this is your deadline. So you need to have like a clear, specific, not just goal, but like task, right? And you need a clear action step, like watch this video. And the accountability is, or fill out this sheet, or fill out this form, or tell me why you feel you're not working out, like whatever it is, right? Because we have to dig deeper. Everything else is surface level. Like it's pretty easy to be like, go work out, go work out, go work out, but it doesn't do any good, right? That's what a personal trainer is for. I'll be there to offer accountability, and when they're not there, you probably don't show up, right? Not you, the client. But for accountability, you need a clear action step, right? This is exactly what you're going to do. And then there needs to be a deadline of, okay, this needs to be completed at this time. And then to level up the accountability, you have someone to check in with. So okay, this is what I accomplished. This is how you accomplish it. This is what you need to do. This is your deadline. And then after your deadline, you follow up with whoever you're working with. It could be a friend or family member. That almost never works. In most cases, because there's no financial investment that ties the emotional investment. Most people will do things even though they don't want to do it because they have invested. And if there's no, like, if there's such a little investment, like, it's clear, like, if you go to YouTube, you can get endless free videos, right? If free workout videos worked, everyone would be fit and healthy. But there is no accountability, there's no customization, there's no one checking in on you. So when we're working with our clients, this is what we do. We give them clear action steps and then check-in times, and then let me know when that's completed. For example, this isn't every single time or every time we talk. This is when we're trying to accomplish something in particular. So then you see like the other end of the screen. In most cases, it's a Zoom call, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna check that I do it?" And I'm like, "That's accountability. That's what you asked for, and that's how you're gonna see results." Otherwise, in most cases, like as human beings, we're really good at procrastinating and not doing. I heard this one time. Someone was like, "Oh, maybe it's like a yogi phrase. It's like we're human beings, not human doings. So just be." And I'm like, I kind of feel like it's the opposite. In most cases, we are human beings. We're just being. We're not taking action. Oh, we should save that somewhere. We're not taking action. We're just being. Like when we're sitting on the couch and we're scrolling through our news feed and watching Netflix, or the news is blaring in the background, and you know you could be getting your workout in, or you could be doing something more productive, like let's say crafting, to use different parts of your brain, or painting, or stretching, let's say, or you could be doing your meal prep, or you could be getting your stuff ready for the next day. We talk about our morning power hour with our clients. You're not doing anything, you're just being. So my suggestion would be we work towards more being, or we work towards more human doing instead of human being. We need to take action steps. I remember this one time. So I went to a high school, and our high school was really well known for football. And we always won the championship. Usually failed really close to winning the provincials, but not that that matters. My senior year, we were pretty good in basketball, I should say, in basketball. And we made it to the city finals, and that was like never happened in, I don't know, it didn't happen like 20 years in our school. And everyone was scared. I'm not to say that I wasn't scared, but I had different actions when I feel that emotion. I'm not sure where that came from, but it was like the everyone was frozen. And we were in the locker room before the championship game, and like no one said anything, which is rare for our team. Like everyone was talking, joking around, playing, and it was like very quiet. And I was the captain of the team, so I said, "Hey," I brought everyone in. I said, "Hey guys, like what's going on? Like what do you guys, like we're here." And of course, everyone wanted to win, but we were in this big arena, bigger than we were used to playing in, more people than ever. That they put this kind of stuff on in the newspaper, which is rare for us. Um, but it was like everyone reacts differently in different situations. But I feel like that frozen mentality of like not taking any action really keeps us in the place that we're in. And then we come up, like as adults, we come up with 1,000 excuses, right? That was probably ingrained in us from childhood, and we don't know it, right? Like we don't know that we quit anytime things get hard. Like the people that do that don't know that they do that. We don't know, right? We don't know that we've always quit anything in life. Like could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a nutrition program. Anytime it gets hard, we quit. And we don't know. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about there's certain people that do certain things, like full on self sabotage, right? Like you may be single and really want to be in a relationship, which may be a good topic for Valentine's Day. I'm not going to give you relationship advice. I'm talking about self sabotage. So you may say you want to be in a loving relationship, but your actions show different. So anytime you get in a loving relationship, you find a way to self sabotage and break that relationship so you're on your own. That could be the same as a fitness program. Like you finally find something that works, and we've actually seen this. And because people don't know how to react to the results, they don't feel like they're worth it. So there's a lot of self worth issues happening that we figure out together and work on a deeper level with our people. But it's like, I'm not worth losing 40 pounds. And then you see them when they get 25, 30 pounds, like that self worth is like they get scared and shocked and they freeze. And then they stop doing the actions that have brought them to their results. And they take steps backwards to gain that weight, to be in that same position that they've always been in because they don't feel like they're worth being fit, healthy, happy, energized, fitting in clothes that they want. Like we keep ourselves in that state of misery. So back to our championship. Um, I'm like Ed Bundy talking about high school championships. But that frozen quiet state of being, you have to like snap out of it, and that's what I was trying to get our team to do. I mean, like, hey guys, like we're here, like we've made it, we should be excited. And then like you leave everything out on the floor. That was something that I was pretty good at in my athletic careers, like full tilt, like no breaks. I was one of the few guys that I almost never came off the floor. Which sounds crazy, but that was just my determination. This was one of my best, this I'm slightly going off track, but one of my favorite compliments that I ever received. This was actually the same year, and one of the coaches from the other team said to me, he came to me after he came and found we were kind of celebrating because we beat them and moved on to the next phase. Maybe we went to the championship or the semifinals. Anyways, he came up to me and he shook my hand and he said, "You know what? I know you're graduating this year, but I just want to let you know I really appreciated playing against you throughout the last few years because I knew you never took a break and I knew that you would always put 100% effort in. And for our team to match that level of intensity that you brought every time we saw you, raised our level, raised our game." And that meant so much to me because every single moment I put in so much effort, and I feel like that maybe was overlooked or maybe wasn't appreciated, and that moment meant a lot to me. But for you guys, and like whatever you're doing, to be putting in maximum effort all the time is a challenge. But you can have seasons. Like you can have a season, like for example, I'm talking to our MAP members, for example. Like this is a season right now of a sprint. I want like we're doing so full workouts, like for at least 3 workouts a week, right? And then we're having them do like meal prep, like meal prep. You should be doing meal prep anyways. Getting all your meals in for the challenge. Like This is almost like a magnifying glass of like everything should be magnified, and you're going full tilt for this season and see as many results as you can possibly find and push yourself further than you thought possible. And every single one of us can be pushed further. We just don't mentally realize it. We think that, oh, I'm doing everything I can, or I'm putting as much effort in as possible, or I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. Like all that stuff, all that is limiting beliefs. So if you really want to push yourself and you want to see more results, then you have to put in more effort. And maybe it's not every play or every day or every week, but maybe you bite off chunks. And for this 30 days is full tilt, full sprint, no breaks. And then after the challenge, let's say you take a week off of recovery, and then we get back on it and push again. But I think we don't realize what it takes. Honestly, like I don't feel like we often realize what it takes to see the results we're looking for. And you could see that in the entrepreneur world, you could see that in the fitness world. Like our clients that have seen incredible results, they work hard. They work incredibly hard. And I tell like anyone that comes into our program is that we have laid everything out for you. We have a very clear step-by-step process, but you have to put in the effort relentlessly all the time. Because when you take breaks, it's harder to get that momentum going forward. And I'll tell you what happens with your metabolism, because I get this quite a bit, is that we'll have someone come to me and they'll have a week that was like not very consistent, like not a really consistent week. And then so they're not happy with their results with a measuring tape, scale, or pictures, whatever it is. We do all three. So from there, then next week they have a really good week and they're like, I was hydrated. I took my supplements. I had all my meals. I got all my workouts in, and nothing shows up in results. And I'm like, it's been a week. That's my serious face. That's my serious face. But it's like, we think that our body is like a microwave or a text message. It doesn't instantly respond. The quicker you take action and the more you stay on track, the quicker your body will respond. But the problem here is that the inconsistency is so challenging for your body to like figure out what's going on. That's why it's so detrimental to your health to lose like 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds and then gain it back. So you lose all this weight and you gain it back, and then you jump on another diet. So here comes Ozempic. You lose a bunch of weight and then you stop taking it, or you deal with a bunch of side effects, you get off it and you gain your weight back. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna do keto. So you strip nutrients, in my opinion, our body needs, you lose a bunch of weight and you realize that's not sustainable, so you gain it back. And your body is continually in a fight or flight state. It doesn't know what you're gonna do to it next. Like our metabolism is there to protect ourselves. So you don't go into starvation mode. So you don't lose too much body fat. This is generations ago when we were hunters and gatherers and we didn't have the abundance of food we have today. And no one complained about grocery shopping lists because you had to go out and find your own food. That was hard. When it comes to our metabolism in particular, it doesn't instantly change. So it may take let's say it takes 3 weeks for you to get ramped up to increase your metabolism, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm feeling great. I'm dropping inches. I'm energized. I'm feeling better. And then the next week, you stop doing all the things that made you feel that good because you're like, oh, maybe I don't have to work as hard. Maybe this is kind of the end of my journey and I'm going to feel great for the rest of my life. Obviously making up stories here. And then you don't see the results you're hoping for. And then the next week you're like, okay, I'm getting back on track, and you have a good week, but you don't see any results, so you get unmotivated, and you're like, nah, I did all this work for 1 week and I didn't see the results, so I'm not going to put in the effort the following week. So like, just think about your metabolism, and it's like I was talking about basketball or sports, for example. It's kind of like if you were the coach and you're telling one of your players or athletes like, go in and play. Just kidding. Go in and play. Just kidding. Like, what's going to happen to that athlete? They're going to be emotionally and mentally demoralized. Like, that's what's happening to our metabolism when we break it down. Like when we do these fad diets or we do these extreme things from medication to food or lack thereof. And then our body's like, What are you trying to do to me? So then when someone comes into our program that has gone through all that, we have to reset their metabolism. We have to reset their digestion. We have to mentally help them prepare and plan for what the next stages look like, because it's not 50 pounds in 2 months. I'll tell you that. No one should be losing weight that quick. And the problem is we see things on TV like The Biggest Loser, and you see people losing, like each week they're losing 15 or 20 pounds. And then we have people come to us and they're like, hey, I only lost 3 pounds this week. And I'm like, great, fantastic. And they're like, what do you mean? Where's all my results? And I'm like, those are your results. Sandra says, good morning, Jeanette. Rhonda's in here. She said, late but here. Great. Moira's in here. She says, morning, Drew. Happy Love Day. Making protein heart-shaped pancakes for my love. It's his birthday, too. Yay. Well, happy birthday to your love. I hope we get a chance to meet him on our Valentine's Day party. That's next weekend. Good morning, Angela. So is that helpful to help you understand how our metabolism works? Accountability. We went over a couple things. Accountability, metabolism, self-care in particular, something I wanted to touch on before we wrap things up. I don't have too much more time here with you guys, but happy Valentine's Day to you, Angela. When it comes to self-care in particular, I had this conversation with one of our members yesterday or the day before, and we talked about selfish. We talked about being selfish. And it's such a hard, like it's a negative word, right? That would trigger some of you if I just said selfish, like you're selfish. That's like offensive, right? Or if I said it's okay to be selfish, like our brains are like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't want to be selfish, because it has such a negative connotation with it. But I think being selfish is a good thing. So, for example, if you are taking care of yourself first, you have more to give. And I'm sure everyone have heard this, but it's even more challenging for women as nurturers and caregivers, like naturally or innately. Like so many women are just naturally caring and giving and want to help. So to hear you should be a little bit selfish and you should put yourself first and you should prioritize yourself, it's like such an internal struggle. It's like, why would I do that? My whole life I've been giving, and it probably has served you well in many situations, but often when we look at our own health and our own sacrifices, it's not serving you and it's probably not serving the people around you. And I say that because if you were to look at, so I can use my own example, like if I didn't eat well, if I miss a meal, if I don't work out for a few days, I'm not a very pleasant person. And that's just being real with you. And that's probably an extreme opposite who I hope to be. Like I would really like to be a good husband and a good father. And I would really like to be a good employer. I hope that our employees come to work happy and excited because of the environment that we've created. I actually had one of our employees that said to me one time, you're always laughing. And they said, I never had a boss that always laughed before. Like they're always mean and angry and stressed out. And I was like, gosh, that's a tough place to be in. It's a tough place to be in mentally, emotionally, physically. Your body goes through havoc by being in a stressful state. And the problem is like on top of that, I have people, I'm fortunate to be in a position where people now rely on me to run a business so they can feed themselves and they can pay their rent. And I take that responsibility terribly seriously. And it's something I've always wanted. Always wanted to grow our business to get to a point where we could help support other people, like good people, like good families, people that care, people that are genuine. Like we could sit down in a board meeting. Like we had one, we have them monthly now. And I look around at the handful of employees we have, and it's incredible to see what we've built together over the years. And it really means a lot, but that environment that you put yourself in, and I'm talking about, you don't have to be a business owner, what I'm talking about now, like you continually put yourself in that environment. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but you can change your attitude, right? Uh, John's in here, Michelle's in here. Thank you guys for jumping in and out. I appreciate that. But you decide what kind of environment. Like I could be miserable, like running a business and entrepreneurship is a very lonely, challenging world. Like you always feel like you're not good enough. You always feel like you're never going to make it. Every turn is a whole new learning curve. Most of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just hanging on, hopefully, hoping I'm making the right decisions. And the bigger we grow and the more success we find, the more insecurities I have. It's just the truth. So I could be that angry, miserable person that no one wants to be around, but I don't want to be. And but this, it's the same thing for you, right? Like you could go into a job as an employee or as an employee, and you can be miserable, and you could tear the whole team down, or make your whole environment miserable if you wanted to. And some people do that. Some people are terribly miserable that no one wants to work with, and they feel like they're stuck there because they don't have another option to. They don't feel like they have another option. But for self care in particular, like you have to protect your environment. That's from your job, coworkers, family members. Yes, let's start with the most challenging people. Then your direct environment, like it could be an apartment you live in, it could be a city that you live in, like whatever it is. And these aren't easy. They're not like overnight fixes, but they'll change your life. And the thing is, nothing worth doing is easy, in my opinion. I actually would prefer to look for more challenging things to do because I know the result at the end will be much more fulfilling or much more rewarding than just doing something easy. In most cases, when I've done stuff, I didn't realize how challenging it was going to be, but I'm grateful it was because at the end, it makes it that much better. So, for self care and love day, before I wrap things up, is doing things for yourself because it makes you a much better person. It could make you a better parent, grandparent, mother, father, employee, employer, because you have, like, let's say, just say for example, like if I have nutrients in my body that are energizing me, making me feel good because I've gotten my meals in, I feel better, and that's projected on other people around me. If I'm getting my workouts in the morning, which we suggest and try to talk our clients into, you have more energy throughout the day. You don't have that one thing weighing on you. I got to get my workout in. I got to get my workout in. But it's not like we have to remove barriers. We have to remove friction in our life. So, for example, if you go to a gym, let's say you go to a gym, and maybe you rely on a personal trainer. So, if you go to a gym and you rely on a personal trainer and you don't show up unless they show up, I'm not saying it's you guys. I'm just giving you ideas. And this could be relevant to something else in your life, but I'm talking about friction. So if you go to a gym and you only show up, and I'm telling you this because I used to work in a gym and I used to have clients that only showed up when I was there, and I'd try to, hey, you should probably get some stretching in on off days. You should definitely get some cardio in once in a while. Like these are things that we've talked about, and they wouldn't show up unless I was there. So if you're fully reliant on someone to be there, like a trainer, for example, if you go to a gym and you're fully reliant on their hours of operation, so times they're open, capacity, how many people are there, because you don't want to go at 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. when everyone gets off work and the gym's packed and you can't use the equipment. That's more friction that you're creating in your life. And this is what we try to portray to our clients and help them understand that the more friction that we remove from our life, the more easier things become. And the thing is like we give ourselves this much room to succeed. It's like a needle, a pinhole. We give ourselves zero room to fail. If you fail, then you want to quit for that week and start again the next Monday, instead of opening your vision and giving yourself more opportunity to succeed. So let's say, for example, a lot of times people just haven't learned how to get themselves to work out. And there's step-by-step process to make that happen. And there's repetition and there's accountability. So if you learn the skill of motivating yourself enough to work out, you are not reliant on someone being there, standing there with you, holding your hand, right? That's one level of friction that you can remove. If you're able to work out at home in the smallest space possible, you have removed friction of having to buy possible expensive equipment, having to have an entire room dedicated to your equipment, to be able to use that equipment. And then on top of that, the friction of, like, for example, family days coming up on Monday. So I'd imagine some facilities are closed or your trainer's not working, for example. So there's more friction for you to get in your car, drive to the gym, wait in traffic, pay for gas, get out of your car, find parking, hoping that the gym is open and that it's not jam packed so you can use some of the equipment or feel comfortable in that area. There is a lot of friction there, which is why a very small part of why I don't believe that gym atmosphere sets you up for success. But let's say you remove all of that and you knew how to work out at home and you built up that motivation muscle to get things done, and you have someone to be accountable for, and you have a small space in your home where you can get your workouts in on a regular basis because you have a program, you know what to do, you know when you're doing it, and you have someone to check in with you. Like, that is very little friction compared to being 100% reliant on all the other external avenues. And that's what, and again, that's what I'm talking about. Of, it's not like when you talk to someone, it's not like if you have a coach that's like, get your workout in, get your workout in, or like, there's underlying reasons of the reasons you're not doing the things. It's probably because there's too much friction. Like, why aren't you why aren't you getting your groceries? Why aren't you meal prepping? And why aren't you eating the foods that you've prepared in advance, right? There's underlying reasons why those things aren't happening in your life. And it takes work, and it takes some digging, and it takes conversations, and it usually takes external help to figure that stuff out, because you don't know what you don't know. And often we can't solve our own problems. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. We're great at solving everyone else's problems. When it comes to our own problems, it's pretty difficult to figure out our own problems. And that's why high level coaching, that's why they get paid so much, right? Like, the more we pay for coaching, the more I realize those people that are facilitating those rooms with ultra successful people, they're well put together themselves, so they know how to solve their own problems, and they can solve other people's problems at a very high level, usually in a short amount of time, with simple steps. And that's what we strive for, is to help people in a simple way to help improve their life and solve their problems. That's pretty much all I do all day. If I'm not solving my own problems, I'm solving someone else's. But that's what you're looking for. Like, for you to step outside of your comfort zone. It's really difficult when I see someone that doesn't walk the walk, right? Like, you could see a personal trainer that's overweight, like, don't think they've solved their problem. You could see someone that mechanic that their car's falling apart. Like, and I know I'm not saying there's not really good trainers or really good mechanics, or someone's house is like kind of falling apart and they're like a handyman. Like, are you really? That's what I think. And maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm just saying that that's what I look for, is that someone that can solve their own problem. That's number one. If I'm going to pay for someone, they should be really well put together. And then from there, solving other people's problems, and how efficiently and how much success they've had with very specific problems. Like, if you go and find someone that just, oh, you know what our first tagline was? For all your health and fitness needs. Right? Like, it was so bad, so bad. But I still see that today. Like, there's a lot of like newer or up and coming, like, inspired business owners and entrepreneurs, and they like help everyone, and we do everything. It's like, there's no possible way you could be good at one thing, or you could be good at one thing if you do everything, right? There's no specialty. That, like, what is it, like a neurologist, like the top, those, or the guys that do where they put you under. Like, those people that do one thing, they get paid the most amount of money because they're experts in that one thing. It's like when you see an entrepreneur and they have like six businesses. It's like, you're probably not, this is not to offend anyone, like you're probably struggling and not haven't found like financially abundance because you're doing too many things, because you haven't given yourself the time and effort and hours it takes to get good at that one thing. It's really loosely of like we do so many things and then you struggle to pay your bills. Like we didn't. I was like I still do some of this, but I have a like I was an author and a radio show host and a protein designer, and I did fitness classes and personal training and online training. Like I did so many things. We didn't really get good until we were like, okay, we have one demographic that we work with, women 40 plus. That's it. All of our conversations all day, that's who we're talking to. And we get better at that every single day, right? That makes a big difference than spreading yourself so thin you can hardly finish anything because you have too much going on. But I'm going to wrap things up. So I saw Nikki come in here. Nikki's new into our program. Welcome, Nikki. We're excited to start working with you and all the results to come. Rose, Carlene, Hazel, Glynis, Rockin' Rondi, Rowdy Rhonda. Did I say good morning to John? I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. We're moving forward as usual. We're always around. If you need some help, send us a message. And otherwise, Matt members, push on. Push through the weekend. We got a challenge that you need to excel in. So let's go. Tracy, have a wonderful day as well. We will catch you guys all later.